Good morning. I hope you can see me. I'm recording from my deck and it's really bright, but I love it out here. And I have to tell you something. I need to tell you about empathy. Empathy is being able to feel and to understand someone else's emotions. So a good example of this is when a coworker comes in the morning and says, "I had a horrible night last night. I didn't sleep. The kids were up. My husband lost his job. I don't know how we're going to make our bills." So in that scenario, someone is voicing their emotions. They're talking about what's going on in their lives. So typically, coworkers say something like, "Huh, you have it rough." "No, you don't. My husband lost his job too, and my dog died, and my daughter has colic." See, we're in a society where we don't know how to empathize and we one up. Empathy, on the other hand, would be, "Wow, I'm really sorry to hear about your night. That sounds like a horrible night. I know when I don't sleep, I'm cranky. I bet you're cranky." See, that's empathy. You're understanding and you're relating to what's going on in their world. This is beautiful. Empathy is great. I'm really new to empathy. I don't know why I didn't learn it growing up. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it wasn't taught. It doesn't really matter now. Today, moving forward, I'm trying to do empathy. I'm definitely not an expert on it. I'm just new to it. I'm really new to it. However, let me tell you about it. It is wonderful to use with your friends, with your coworkers, with your spouse. I know that when I come home from work and my wife says, "I've had a really hard day, nothing has gone right," I know she doesn't want me to fix it and she doesn't want me to trump it. She wants me to hear her. And when I hear her, she absolutely loves it. She feels loved, she feels seen, she feels heard. So let's play that out. We'll come home. Wife says, "Wow, I've had a really hard day, nothing's gone right, I'm exhausted." So empathy would be, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your day. That is horrible. I can't believe all that happened. You must be exhausted. You just must be frazzled. I know that when my day goes like that, it just sucks. Is there anything I can do for you?" That's empathy. Whereas a typical husband, I've done this many, many times. If you don't do this, husbands, good for you. I need a page out of your book. But so many times my wife has said, "I've had a hard day, the car didn't start, the refrigerator doesn't work, the floor needs mopped," and all these things. And my response is, "Well, I've been up since 4, I drove an hour to work, I worked 10 hours, I drove an hour home, I'm exhausted. Let me fix it for you real quick." And then I give her a 10-step process how she could fix it. It doesn't work, gentlemen. And spouses, if you, wives, if you're doing that to your husband, it doesn't work. Friends, if you're doing that to your other friends, it doesn't work. So, empathy, relate. "Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. It sounds like you had a really hard day because of these reasons. Uh, I know that I don't like when that happens, so I can feel what you feel." The other thing is self empathy. A lot of us don't do self empathy. We don't do it for others because we don't do it for ourselves. So, self empathy is quite a bit different. You have to be able to feel your emotions. So, if something's going on, for instance, I had some miscommunication between some friends, I sat around all day waiting, I felt disrespected, I was upset. Anger is a secondary emotion, so if you're feeling anger, dig deeper because that's not your primary emotion. So, my primary emotion was just disrespect. I felt disrespected. My time is valuable. I work hard. I need time to relax too. So I had to feel that. Okay, that does make sense. So what I did to myself, that does make sense. I could see why you would feel disrespected. I could see why that made you angry. You're allowed to feel angry. You're allowed to be emotional. You're doing great. You're not even reacting though. Good job. So you have to be able to see yourself, validate yourself, and give yourself room to grow through. Because when you do that, you feel a ton better and you move right through it. A lot of us don't know how to do that, and so we don't know how to self-soothe and empathize with ourselves, and in the process we get angry and we have bad days. There's no need to have a bad day. I have bad days, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm the king of bad days. However, as you learn tools like empathy, you can love on yourself and you can get through it a lot better. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope it helps. You're worth it. Keep up the good work. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about guilt and shame. It seems like there's a big confusion on guilt and shame, and a lot of people don't understand they're different. They use them interchangeably. So, for instance, I hear people say, "Man, I felt guilty and I felt ashamed." Well, you don't really feel both of those at the same time. They're kind of different. Okay, so for instance, guilt, I've done something wrong. Shame, I am wrong. Okay, so let me give an example. I was in a restaurant. Guy had little kids. Him and his wife were eating dinner, and all of a sudden the little girl spills her drink. Okay, and so you hear the mom say, "How could you do that? How could you spill your drink? You're bad. You're a bad little girl." Okay, that's shame. No, the little girl made a mistake. She spilled her drink. She's guilty, and even that I would argue because it was a mistake. However, if she's anything, she's guilty. She made a mistake. She's still a good little girl. She's created in the image of God. She's a beautiful creation. She's got personality. She's got life. She's a wonderful being. Okay, so she's guilty, but she's not bad. Okay, when we see this in our society all the time, you see it in corporate America, in blue collar and white collar, every social economic status. It doesn't matter race, religion, gender, creed, and color. You see it. So be aware of that, because we are not what we do. If we make a mistake, we're guilty and we can make amends for what we've done. However, we are not bad. So we need to be aware of that. How often growing up I thought if I made a mistake, I was a mistake. How many times in life I thought if I did something bad, I was bad. Well, that's shame. And we don't have to be in shame. And I ask you to not be in shame. If you're guilty, if you've done something wrong, own up to it and pay the price. You're still a wonderful person. You're still worthy of love and respect and kindness. And mistakes don't make you bad. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I hope that it makes a difference in your life, because you're worth it.